Welcome to Motivational Mondays. This is Fed Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today we're going to be discussing moving forward 1 hour. What does it mean? Okay, so before we start, make sure to like and subscribe so that you could get future content like this. So some of you who don't live in the Northern Hemisphere don't experience this, where the clock gets moved in the wintertime, gets moved backwards, and then the springtime gets moved frontwards, right? You fall back in the fall and you spring forward in the spring. And it has, believe it or not, 1 hour has such an effect on people. It's unreal. Usually they do it on a Saturday night, so Sunday morning people are rolling out of bed and they have that extra leeway the first day. But then that Monday morning hits and they get whammed with that 1 hour difference. Does it make that much of a difference? Yes, it does. So now imagine if you took that 1 hour and you got up earlier than the rest of the world, and you concentrated and focused on your growth, whatever that growth per se you're looking to grow in. Imagine you took that hour and instead of delaying it every week, year to year, you got up 1 hour earlier and you would have focused on yourself during that time. Imagine how many books you would have finished reading. Imagine how much of your journal you would have finished. Imagine how much more you could have done productivity from year to year. It's only 1 hour. It is 1 hour, but it's 1 hour, right? 1 hour doesn't sound like a lot of time, but when you slice it out of your day, especially if you have family and kids, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. When you're single, you kind of are on your own schedule and you have to develop your own discipline. But when you have dependents on you and you have, things that you got to get out on time in the morning, like kids, or you have, other obligations, it's a little bit more difficult. But that 1 hour makes such a difference. Now, we all know that the key to motivation is action, right? It's the first thing that gets us going. It's not how we think, it's what we do. And once we do it, it moves us forwards, become more powerful once we have the action. And when we move forward action-wise, we're able to move forward in life, in everything that we do. So it's really that vital when we move this 1 hour forward in order for us to give us that lesson of how important that 1 hour is in our lives, because it does affect us. It affects our sleep cycle, it affects our moods, it affects the time of the year. And it takes me at least 2 weeks to get used to 1 hour, by the way. For myself, it takes me 2 weeks to get used to 1 hour. They say, when you travel time zones, they say generally speaking, it takes for every 1 or 2 hours, it takes, between 5 to 6 days to get used to it. Okay, so imagine how much longer it just takes you for that much longer types of trips when you have to come back to your native land and you're kind of juggling that time zone. But even 1 hour, it makes that big of a difference when you take advantage of that 1 hour, when you build yourself in that 1 hour. And I think that is probably one of the best lessons that we could utilize of this fall back in the fall and spring forward in the spring. And that is exactly what it is. It gives us that extra hour. So yes, in the fall, you're given a free hour because you do the hour once again, okay, where, the clock is actually turned backwards 1 hour and all of a sudden you have an extra hour. Now, the reason they do it is because in the mornings, the sunrise would be so late that it would be dangerous for the kids standing by the bus stops. So they, preempted this by doing these daylight saving times, it's called. So in the winter, the days are shorter, right? And the nights are much longer. And in the winter, in the summer, the days are much longer and the nighttime is much shorter, thereby utilizing that time of the day. Now, in all essence, okay, this is how important that 1 hour. If you accumulate, okay, if you do a calculation how many hours per day that you could utilize in the morning in order to develop you, imagine how much more exponentially throughout the year you get to be that much more effective, that much more good, that's much more powerful, that's much more empowering in your day. And that kind of creates the entire theme for the day when you do get that extra hour. I know for myself, I know when I do get that extra hour in the morning where I get to do my exercise, my meditation, my value added reading, whatever that is that I do. Okay, that is my regimen on a daily basis. And because of that, I am that much more productive throughout the day. Not because I am a very disciplined person. It's just, it puts me in that mind space and it's actionable. It's actionable throughout the entire day. And that's why it's so productive. So we'll see you here next week on Motivational Mondays. God bless everybody. Have a great week.